All right, so I'm going to start chatting a little bit about what's going on with the deck, what's going on with the league. This is where I'm at right now. Small adjustment from the last time you guys saw me, I think. I brought the 2 Teferis from the sideboard into the main. There had been some discussion about that on the Discord. I was just thinking that, well, I'm always impressed with Teferi. Of course, that's colored in a really big way by the fact that when I have played Teferi, he's coming in from the sideboard, which means he's gonna be really good. But he's just an all-around amazing card. You guys know that. So I had a number of games where I just drew tons and tons of Okos. And Oko's an amazing card, and we really do want to get him down on turn 3 if possible. But, getting Teferi down on turn 2 or turn 3 just as soon as possible, getting Teferi down can be, just as powerful because bounce whatever the opponent has played, whatever creature, or maybe an artifact or something, and then, or I guess he actually bounced enchantments as well. Anyhow, getting one of these guys down early is pretty good for us. It doesn't really matter too much which one because Teferi actually does a lot for our strategy because it just makes Ephemerate kind of uncounterable. If an opponent wants to kill any of our creatures, Ephemerate just is a hard counter at that point with Teferi down. So yeah, just the split of the powerful planeswalkers. I think that Scott is currently on 4 Okos, 1 Teferi. Still maxing out on Okos, which could be correct. Teferi and Oko both pitch to Force of Negation, so sort of no difference as far as that goes. I guess, you could have an opinion on how many planeswalkers the deck wants, and we do run cards that require creatures to be good, like Ephemerate and Soulherder. They need creatures to be on the battlefield for them to do anything. So running too many planeswalkers, I wouldn't want to run like 8 or 9 or 10 planeswalkers, but maybe 5 is a sweet spot, maybe 4 is a sweet spot. Anyhow, Scott has been doing well with 5, with 4 Okos and 1 Teferi, so yeah, I'm kind of upping the Teferis a little bit, lowering the Oko count. Otherwise, the main deck is the same. Mana's felt fine. Astrolabe still at 4. Whenever I trim that down to 2, the mana has tended to feel a little bit worse. Getting an Astrolabe on the battlefield pretty much solves your mana for the rest of the game. I mean, if you have blue and green and need white, Astrolabe's got you covered. If you need black, again, Astrolabe's got you covered. So the sideboard, after discussing Click recently in the chat, I hadn't revisited that in a while, so 1 Click finding its way in here. Pretty much the rest of it is the same. I am running 1 Stonehorn and 1 Worship. Kind of doubling up on that effect, but they're better or worse in different matchups. Stonehorn is going to be good against any deck that wants to attack, but Worship is... And Worship is as well, but Worship is particularly good against Burn, whereas Stonehorn, not really great in that matchup, just because most of the damage from Burn is coming from their instants and sorceries, typically. Yeah, otherwise, pretty much the same stuff. Still sitting on 3 Disdainful Strokes. This could potentially go down to 2, since Vendilion Click helps in some of the matchups where Disdainful Stroke is coming in, like Tron and Primeval Titan decks. Amulet Titan and Scapeshift. So anyhow, I'm currently sitting at 2-0 in a league with this build. I think that for the next league, I've just been giving it a little more thought, how to tune the list based on my experience with it. And if I trim an Assassin's Trophy, it's reducing my dependence on black mana, which means that I should be able to comfortably trim one of these Astrolabes. So going down 1 each of those 2 cards, it seems like it could make it very simple for me to just add in 2 Wall of Blossoms. And, I mean, upping our 2-drop creature count that draw cards is rarely going to be bad or sort of hard to justify not running more of these, right? Because this is a really core effect. I think most of us seem to agree at this point that 3 Eternal Witnesses is okay, and if we wanted, we could run 4, but Soulherder, I don't think anybody really wants more than 3 Soulherder at this point, and I've actually seen lists going down to 2. I think Alicia might be on 2 Soulherders at this point. In my view, it's still a really powerful card. It still has all that blink synergy, and that's what we're building the deck around, so I like 3. But as for the number of 2-drops, there's no real hard consensus except that we want a lot of them. So I feel like this list may have moved slightly further than we want to move away from the value 2-drops, currently only running the 8 snakes. So bringing in 2 Wall of Blossoms seems like a pretty good idea. I don't know. DV, Rhino is often like the card that I want to draw the most. I'll be in kind of a board stall. I just need something big and chunky that just does stuff, right? Comes down, drains the opponent. Maybe I have like an Ephemerate just sitting around, maybe a Soul Herder just not really doing too much, maybe just blinking one of these guys, and otherwise we're just sort of at a standstill. Rhino hasn't made me want to trim back on him yet. Maybe that's the best explanation. Like, I'm not having games where I'm drawing 3 Siege Rhinos and only have time to play one of them or something like that. If that were to start happening, then maybe I would consider cutting it back, trimming it back to like 2. But 3 feels fine right now. Hey, Peripheral, and hey, Mateo. So anyhow, that's the idea. Next league, I think I'm going to make that adjustment where I trim an Astrolabe, trim a Trophy, and jam 2 Wall of Blossoms. I may or may not adjust the sideboard. It's felt pretty good so far. Veil is pretty spectacular against any kind of blue decks or like Grixis decks where they're trying to, or Death Shadow decks where they're trying to kill our stuff. So let's go and jump into the 3rd round of the league and see how it goes. The first round was against... I haven't been playing too much, so these games are... One was like 2 days ago, one was 1 day ago. I've only been playing like 1 match a day. This was against Death Shadow. I think I showed you guys a replay of that match, actually. And then yesterday I played against this guy, who was on... actually, I don't need to show a replay of that. Let me close this. Oh, that was unfortunate. So, yeah, I guess I closed the way that Magic Online works with these windows sometimes. It's like if you close one window, it closes a whole bunch of windows. So now I'm back in the queue. But anyhow, this guy was on some kind of control build, like a Bant snow control build, and it felt like a really good matchup. All right, opponent's on the play. Yeah, opponent's mulliganing. We're on the draw. We've got a redraw with Astrolabe, so 2 draws at the beginning. If we draw either green or blue, we're in it with Icefang Coatl, but particularly with Siege Rhino in the hand, I think I need to mulligan the 1-lander. This is a hand that I feel like I've seen Nassif keep. Like he's being a little bit too greedy, I think, with some of the opening hands. Yeah, see, this is way, way better. So 3 lands, actually, this would be a perfect opening hand, because 3 lands is perfect, but here I think we just pitch one of the lands, almost certainly going to draw into another one between Oracle and Icefang, particularly being on the draw. So let's see who we're playing against. All right, well, it looks kind of mirror-ish at this point. We want to draw lands, so I'm not really looking to crack a Misty Rainforest right now. The sequencing doesn't matter too much, except that I don't think I want to crack Misty this turn. So if the opponent jams Oko right now, I think we're behind the 8 ball. Looks like it. Yeah. Okay. Teferi's a good card. If you think I'm going to go ahead and run out Oracle here. I was saying I wanted to draw lands, but let's see what this guy can do. All Right, Assassin's Trophy for Oko is pretty solid. We do need to hit a land, though. I think this is Soulherder. This guy's probably just watching my stream right now. I double exalted with the food token. Sweet. I guess the only upside here is that they're down to 2 cards right now. Kind of representing something nice. I mean, they still have 3 mana here, so definitely not blocking yet. Okay, well, there's a land. That's pretty good. Teferi can bounce the food token, which seems sort of okay. Then he just dies to an Exalted Hierarch. Don't have double green yet. We can go Coatl, sort of ghost blocking. That also seems kind of good. And if that's the line, then I should probably attack. And I don't think I'm going to attack Oko just because we're never going to get him down to 0, and the Assassin's Trophy just has his name on it. I kind of like running out Teferi here. Bounce this, draw a card. But I also like getting Ephemerate going on, particularly since I have Eternal Witnesses in hand. So yeah, I'll just attack the opponent, I guess, here. I guess they could flash in their own Coatl or something, and then... Alright. If they go for Ephemerate... Well, I guess they don't have anything to Ephemerate. They could flash in Coatl and then Ephemerate it. I haven't really played a proper Soulherder mirror. I played against a Soulherder... Yeah, there's that Coatl. Okie dokie. Looks like they're going for Ephemerate here. Oh, well, I guess not. That's interesting. I guess they just wanted to turn Death Touch on. I hope whoever this is isn't watching this stream right now. That would be kind of cheesy. Opponent could have Path if I go for Ephemerate, but that's definitely what I'm doing. We're sort of behind here with them landing the turn 2 Oko on the play. Now we don't have Death Touch here. So we're just trying to Ghost block. Opponent could like Path before I even line up blocks, but since they're obviously playing, well, it's not obvious yet. They could just be playing some kind of control deck. I think there's a bunch of decks like this right now. So yeah, if they have the Path here, I'm sort of fine getting blown out. It looks like they, well, anyhow, let's see how it goes. I have a feeling they have the removal. Opponent's thinking. Okay, it worked. The opponent knows that we have Assassin's Trophy, but they don't know anything else, so that was a nice draw. This is not doing any damage. We drew a land. We're going to get to rebound, and we can either jam Rhino. If he gets turned into an elk, we can always... So, wow, stacks are kind of weird. Soulherder, and another land. So, let's see. I mean, it seems like Rhino is a good choice here. But then also, let's see. They're going to get to turn this into an elk next turn. Soulherder gets the value going, but I think, you know, to get Rhino down, we're not going to die next turn, and then Soulherder can start blinking things. We're going to have 5 mana next turn. We can play Soulherder and, I guess, Assassin's Trophy. If they have Mana Leak or something like that, it's really rough. And the way that we're fetching right now, we're not going to have Death Touch with our Ice Fang. I mean, they have 5 mana. They could even Cryptic me right now or something if they have that. Oh my god. All right. Okay, opponent. You've got me very firmly back-footed right now. At least we know now that they play Spell Queller, and we can so keep that in mind for game 2. Oko can start trading things too, which just makes my situation pretty terrible, right? Like that's one of the things that, well, really the big drawback of letting Oko sort of run wild. For the most part, we don't care about food and we don't care about elks, but once he starts like grabbing stuff, it just creates like a huge imbalance in the board state. Yep, Mateo, that's the plan. But opponent's getting pretty frisky here. So this is exactly lethal. If I block a 3/3, I'm going to take 6. Can still play my Temple Garden. Seems sort of okay. Opponent has not played this Windswept Heath yet, I don't think, so they revealed it on the last Once Upon a Time. Stoneforge. All right, so this is just like a Bant value deck, basically. Okay, Stoneforge Mystic, and they played the Heath. All right. So now we go get... we're going to kill this thing, get back Siege Rhino, play Soul Herder, gain some life. A Feast and Famine. Feast of Famine is +2/+2. And pro green black, right? So like green black, blue white black, that's fine. We don't even have to lose any life. Kill this thing. I mean, we have nice value lines here, but let's hold on a second. I don't want to do that. Blue green and then blue white. Okay, black green. I mean. So let's see. So the opponent's just going to ephemerate now, and we'll just get like crazy blown out. All right, and then Feast and Famine, green, black. We're not going to be able to block too much. I can't remember what that thing does. I think it untaps their lands or something. So I can play Teferi, and I like Soul Herder better. I need to gain more life. We've got Ephemerates in the graveyard. If we can start doing, get our loop going on. Okay. So we're doing our best against turn 2 Oko here. He can actually take my Soul Herder, which would just be game over, but I'm not sure the opponent's seeing the line about trading creatures. Otherwise, they may have done that last turn. All right, Astrolabe seems slightly desperate. All right, so they're exchanging. So they saw that line. Ephemerate gets back the Soul Herder, right? Oh, but I can't target it when it's under their control. Only Prince does that. Yeah, so things look pretty rough now. They can play this this sword. Untap lands, and I discard something. All right, so that's 5. They've got 6 here. They might just attack with Exalted. That's going to be 7 then, right? Well, we do have an Astrolabe now. That's fun. So, yeah, we can't block here. Opponent's going to make me discard something, but we've got the Temple Garden as an easy discard. We can bounce a food token, but yeah, it's like, I don't know, we're pretty dead here. Not playing Prince, so Soul Herder is pretty firmly traded at this point. They get this stupid trigger. Yep, you got it, opponent. And they've untapped all their lands. This is terrible. So I think I might bring in the green Force of Vigor, just because it's sort of solid against Oko anyway. And then if they start playing these Stoneforge things. All right, so they're getting in for 7 unblockable next turn. I can get back Ephemerate. I can get back Ephemerate, get back Assassin's Trophy, and then trophy this thing when they attack. But they've got so many attackers now. Opponent with the Spell Quellers. Yeah, I think that's just gonna seal the deal. GG, opponent. All right, we have slightly more time than them, but that was a fairly efficient game. Kudos to the opponent for not playing super duper slowly. So this says things can't be countered. It doesn't do anything against Spell Queller sort of stealing our spells. It does give us our permanence hexproof, so it prevents Oko from alkifying things. It prevents Oko from trading for things. If they're playing counter spells, they're likely to take them out post board unless it's generic like Mana Leak or something, but So this is a creature deck. Sing Collector is not going to be good. I'm not sure that Unmoored Ego is necessary. Stonehorn is solid. Worship is solid. As I mentioned, I kind of like Force. It might not come into play until later in the game, but one of their lines is just get 2 lands out, play Stoneforge, play Batterskull, and then we just Force, and usually those games go in our direction. So we'll bring in Winds. Definitely not bringing in Disdainful Stroke. Collector Oof is pretty good against the swords. It's not really good against Batterskull. Well, it's sort of good against Batterskull. It means I can't bounce it back to hand if I try to destroy it with Force of Vigor. Thoughtseize, maybe. Veil, maybe. I'm not really feeling the Veil. Okay, then what do we sideboard out if we are just bringing in 5 cards? When I bring in Oof, I take out the Astrolabes. The mana base, as you saw in that game, can pretty much support what we're trying to do. I think I might keep the Forces just to keep them off the early Planeswalker. They don't seem like they have a lot of removal. Although Oko can Elkify the Soul Herder, I think I'll keep the Soul Herders in. Maybe I'll trim one force. Just run it like that. Okay, looks good to me. We are going to want to thin the deck a little bit. I'm going to get Hallowed Fountain on turn 1 probably. Nah. Let's see. I guess I'll get... Death Touch would be solid, but I don't really need it. I get blue here, and then play green. Blue-green. We're really going for Teferi, so I'm going to get a shock here, I think, on their end step. Opponent mulligan to 6. Okay, looks like they have a dork here. If we had a mana dork on turn 1, it would be pretty slick. Could bounce their dork with Teferi. Okay, well, it's Astrolabe. That's interesting. Not a dork. I don't think I'm going to trophy until like the 4th turn or something, so... And I do have another fetch land for that. I have 3 fetch lands for that, actually. Okay, this looks like Stoneforge. We are flooding out this game. Doesn't feel good. Like, this is pretty terrible that I have 6 lands at this point. I haven't drawn any non-lands. Okay, there's that sword. So we're not going to want to Assassin's Trophy Stoneforge. I also don't think we're going to want to... So they're not going to be able to attack with haste next turn. So they're not going to bounce anything. I might just tick Teferi up, or just bounce my Coatl. Well, that was a semi-decent draw there, so... So this turn, we Teferi. Just tick up, I guess. Next turn, we can either hold up, probably hold up Assassin's Trophy and then have Witness. So we need white or blue mana here, so I'll go get a... an island. They could have force, I guess, here. And, let's see. I'm just going to attack. Not going to block for sure. Alright, so come on, opponent, miss some land drops. Make up for us getting flooded. Oh, looks good. Nice. So now we get that another land. Alright, well, that's pretty stupid. Opponent can flash in their own Coatl here. If they want to trade that way, that's sort of fine. Yeah, I don't really want to bounce Stoneforge. So I think I'll just take this guy up again. And we do have to remember that they can't play they can't play at instant speed. So I'm going to go ahead and attack here. If they want to sort of violin, or I guess Stoneforge in their sword and then equip it next turn, that's all their mana. and then we just blow them out with Assassin's Trophy. On the upside, if they do get to resolve or attack without me getting able to blow this up somehow, we have plenty of cards that we can just discard. All right, there's that thing. All right, what's the play, opponent? I do have Eternal Witness getting back Assassin's Trophy. So the opponent is a little bit mono-screwed, but they did find a land here. If they play Oko, we get to Assassin's Trophy, Oko, and then Witness, Assassin's Trophy, the sword. Well, this works out pretty well, I think. Let's see who they attack, get some information, see what they care about. If they go after Teferi, it seemed like maybe they have a lot of instants in their hand. They're going after us, so let's get that Overgrown Tomb. We are trophying the sword. As far as I know, they don't have ways to get things back, and that sword is just a pain in the butt. I could just take the Stoneforge out, but I don't want to leave the sword sitting around on the battlefield. Happy to take 1 damage from the Stoneforge. If they do just naturally draw into more equipment, then Stoneforge does get to continue sort of vialing in equipment. These lands are really bumming me out. So now I can play Witness, bounce the Coatl, and then do what I want to do with, I'll have Trophy in hand. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with the Coatl. All right. So we've got green, blue. Actually, the lands work out for this? I don't think so. I think I have to choose whether I want to have up Coatl or Trophy. I have green, blue, but not black, green. Green, green, white. Green, blue, no black, green. Green, black, green. Yeah, I should have thought about my land drop there a little bit better. I think I could have done green, green, green. hurting my head here. I don't think I'll need to trophy on their turn, like right away. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Ugh. That's very strange. I could have sworn that I -3'd, but I particularly left up the green and the blue to do it this way. Otherwise, I could have gone green, green. No, I couldn't have done it anyway. See, this is kind of dumb, but yeah, thank you. It's nice having followers who are here to point out the punting. Opponent going life total, going what? Can I draw something other than a land? Like an ephemerate, maybe? All right, pretty easy decision here. I mean, the opponent has up white. If I try to bounce one of my creatures. All right, so let's play black. Go green, black, blow this thing up. See what the opponent does. Well, that gives them mana. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just going to do this right now. Just thinking out loud. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm reading the cards. Thank you for pointing that out. So I'll go ahead and... I know, I got it. Thank you. Man. So rough. So now I want to just bounce the Coatl and play it again, even on my turn, I guess. No, what am I doing? I'm getting a little tired here. Opponent's got 6 cards in hand. All right, let's be careful here. This is going to draw me a card right off the bat, and then when I replay it, it'll draw me another card. Soul is pretty sick. Opponent can't play at instant speed, as Paintball has pointed out. This game is taking significantly longer than the previous game. You need to be a little bit careful about time. I've somehow fallen a minute behind the opponent. What are they doing with 7 cards in hand at this point? All right, opponent is trying to equalize on time. It's fine by me. So after drawing nothing but lands for the first, like, 5 turns, 4 turns, seems like got some nice stuff going on here. Although we've just been recycling this Assassin's Trophy, honestly. They're going for Oko again. What's going on? You gonna make some food? Maybe Elkify, Stoneforge, get in at Teferi. I just play another Teferi. Pathing something? All right. Well, nothing I can do about this right now, so I'll say okay. And green, 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 black, black. Got all the black. Oh, that's my only choice. So all my basics are out of the deck now. That's what happens when you draw only lands, I guess. Okay, opponent is hellbent on killing me. I'm fine taking this damage. Our deck does nothing if we don't have creatures on board. Ephemerate, let's go. All right. Well, it's not the worst thing in the world. So let's just take this step by step, I guess. My own Oko. So blow up their Oko, play my own Oko. Bounce something maybe, just to slow them down. Can't imagine letting their Oko live. Like a Batterskull, I guess. But it's not a big deal, I guess. If they attack into like Teferi, for example, I'm definitely going to block. Huh. All right. I did leave in my 2 forces. All right, so they're bouncing this. Are they going to continue going after my life total? If they let Teferi live, we can deal with, wow, ambitious opponent. Pass the turn, please. Pass the turn, please. Oh, they get to replay this thing. That's right. All right. Well, we do have Assassin's Trophy. We have 8 million mana. We can blow up Stoneforge, attack Teferi down with the food. Okay, they've got a Coatl. All right. Let's do this, team. Siege Rhino. All right, I'm at 2. Let's see. Play another Teferi, bounce Stoneforge again. Kill their Ice Fang, attack Teferi with Eternal Witness. I can go get green, but okay, I think I've got this covered. Oh, I have no more basics. It's a little bit rough. Ugh, I also wanted to turn that into, Jesus, so sloppy. I have to get better at playing with planeswalkers in general. Like that was quite a poor play. So I have no more basics. I'd love to get this Siege Rhino out, but I can't do it right now. I'd just kill myself with a shock. So I guess the next best thing is to play a Eternal Witness? Soul Herder? Yeah, Soul Herder seems okay. Oh, I can't do that, huh? Only got white, not white-blue. That's rough. So, yeah, Eternal Witness then. Really have to watch out for the clock here. Got 7 on board right now. Siege Rhino does 3 by itself. If the opponent can kill 2 of my things, I guess that's pretty tough. Yeah, definitely didn't do this optimally. We haven't drawn a single Ephemerate all game. Yeah, we definitely dodged a bullet there. Holding up Ice Fang would have been much better with Teferi. When it goes down to 7, Ephemerate gets pretty close. Ephemerate just wins the game now, hopefully, if the opponent doesn't just kill me right now. Spell Queller on the main phase. So that's what Teferi does for you. 2 Spell Quellers. All right, let's thin that deck. All right, Ephemerate, nowhere to be seen, but we can definitely siege Rhino. And Soul Herder. Seems good. Don't really care about these flyers just yet. I want to trade for one of their flyers, but I can't really do it profitably yet. So I don't know. Make a food token. And with Teferi now, of course, holding up Ice Fang is pretty sweet. So, oh wait, you know what? They have Teferi. Of course, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. I can also just blow up their Teferi, blow up one of their attackers. They can't really do much with Teferi next turn, so I'm just going to get some bodies on the ground or in the air. Oh, that's it. That's game. I'm just like, yeah. I'm really worried about the clock, so I wasn't paying attention to the fact that they're at 2 life. I have to say, this deck, you know, if you play it with real intent and try to find like every single line that you can do, it's sort of mind expanding. It's really difficult to see like everything that's going on at every moment. Keeping track of what the possibilities are with Oko, like if you want to trade something or if you want to turn something into an elk. Remembering that Teferi doesn't let the opponent act at instant speed and that their Teferi doesn't let me act at instant. It's just like so much stuff to remember. So based on that game, Collector Oof didn't seem like a slam dunk, which means I could bring back in Astrolabes if I want. Spell Queller makes Teferi just ridiculously good. Spell Queller is just obnoxious in general. Maybe flyers are good. To be able to interact with like the Spell Queller attacks, and maybe to be able to get in at their planeswalkers. Double blue is a little intense, but seems okay. What do you guys think about Thoughtseize? And Force is not really good except against the early game planeswalkers. I think maybe I can afford to trim Force. Trim Force and bring in a Thoughtseize. I think that seems okay. But they're not winning the game if I get Worship down, right? So Teferi can bounce Worship, so that's definitely an out that they have. And they're playing a lot of Teferis while this is a Gasalicious hand, so. All right, so let's be careful here. Need to get white with this. I have to watch the clock, so I'm going to try to play kind of fast. So if I don't see something you guys are saying, you know, forgive me, but I got to stay on top of this. So opponent, if they have another land, they can play Mystic. They can a Violin, whatever they get, and then equip it. Or no, equip is 2. So we do have to be, okay, there's just Batterskull. So that thing's probably going to die. More land. It's not super terrible. I think I'm going to get Soul Herder down here. So hope the opponent has that land, so let's see what they do. Okay, path is going to rent me. We say yes, and then go and get a island. Another Soul Herder's pretty sick. Just play Soul Herder. Okay, Queller, huh? Okay, so we get to bait something hopefully here. We go, well, 1, 2, 3. Well, I don't know. I'm just going to run out Coatl and see if they have, maybe they have like double Queller, which would be busted. Okay. All right, well, they didn't go for the Queller there. Another Queller just means that we have to go Witness. Okay, they don't have it. So now we just play fast. Yeah, so Batterskull, I think we can deal with that. We're just taking damage now, not blocking at all. They could have Teferi to bounce Worship. That would be kind of obnoxious. They probably run 4 Teferis with all those Spell Quellers. We can get Assassin's Trophy back. 1, 2, 3. Get our last forest. Okay, just passing, huh? Maybe they have a Queller, but they didn't have Queller last turn, so 2 cards in hand. Let's go deck. Come on, Soul Herder, let's run away with this a little bit. Okay, well there's the Teferi. And he's going sorcery speed, so Stonehorn is kind of nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have played my my goose. Oh, Jesus. All right, well, I can get that back, though. They can't attack currently. Ugh, that was terrible. Come on. I haven't drawn an ephemerate like this entire match. Should have gotten blue there. I'm a mess right now. Can't even play it. Oh, I can. Okay. Uh, all right. I mean, I can make a food. Gotta remember to do that. I mean, I should just F6, right? I don't know that they can actually beat me. I have worship. I'm not attacking with anything. They have 5 seconds left. Yeah. No, I saw that. I saw that like 2 or 3 minutes ago. I had worship down, and they had already committed a bunch of spell quellers. So Teferi bouncing worship is really not that amazing for them because then I just replay it. I have ephemerate, so if they counter it, I could just. They don't have counters. They have. Anyhow, we got there. So, oh guys, you can't see the clock. You should say something. I forget that I need to resize the window. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, like, you need to know when to just like start passing, when to just I don't know. The clock can be really, really tricky with playing this deck, as you know. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back. We can talk about it. Yeah, so I was leaving tons of value on the table in that match. I wasn't activating Teferi towards the end. I wasn't ephemerating my creatures when I could have. I mean, I had an Eternal Witness to be doing the loop, but the opponent was like very clearly falling behind on time. And when I have 8,000... yeah, hey, I'm sorry, guys. So that's the whole point. You couldn't see the clock. So I guess I just needed to explain that to you. And that's pretty much it. Just opening a window a little bit. Getting a little bit hot. The heat just turned on. So, yeah, thoughts. Why don't I open that up? I want to just watch that last match again real quick. Should we watch game 1 again? Is that peripheral? You're saying you think that that was an unlikely loss? I don't remember it being an unlikely loss, honestly. So I had to mulligan, kept a decent hand. Opponent's ramping. They get Oko down on turn 2. I mean, that's hard to beat, right? So I go Oracle, draw Trophy. They make a food and attack with double Exalted. Already at 12, going into turn 3. Okay, we drew a land. That's what we were hoping for. And I just passed, leaving up Ice Fang, Ephemerate, and if I recall correctly, it worked the way that I wanted it to. One of the reasons we lost this game is I think they managed to stick an Oko that just kind of ran away with the game. I think they got a Stoneforge Mystic down with that sword, and we needed to trophy the sword. Drew the Siege Rhino. You guys can let me know if you see... So wait, peripheral, you're saying you can't... Oh, you can't believe that I won game 1? Huh. Did I win game 1? I can't even remember. Did I win this game or did the opponent win game 1? I think the opponent won this game, didn't they? I did win one game with the Siege Rhinos. That's true. Maybe that was this one. My brain is kind of fried from the end game there. But I don't know if you guys saw in the mad dash of the end of that game how good Force of Vigor was. Can I get some acknowledgement of that? Force of Vigor, pretty freaking good. Blew up Batterskull, blew up the sword. All right, so opponent's got a bunch of stuff going on here. Oh, guys, come on, you gotta tell me. This window is still not resized. I haven't streamed in a few days, and I gotta get my head in the game. So now you can see everything that's going on the opponent's side of the battlefield, which is good if you guys, are actually wanting to see, what's going on. All right, so opponent's obviously crushing me here. So we trophied Spell Queller. to get back the Siege Rhino. When we could have potentially trophied Oko. And Oko, something that is very easy to do against Oko is just to sort of sleep on him for a while and forget that he can take your creatures away. So if you have this sort of fragile board state with one Death Touch creature and one solid blocker, certainly they take your Death Touch creature and you can't really do anything against their attacks. It's one of the real strengths of Oko is that he kind of does everything. All right, so I stuck the Soul Herder, and things were looking sort of okay here. To blink that Siege Rhino. Gain some life, so we're back up to 9. Okay, Astrolabe, opponents at 3 cards, and they took my Soul Herder. That was like a dagger in my heart. Then they play the sword. Then they put the sword on the food. Then they attack for 7. Yeah, so so taking my Soul Herder was what did it basically. So if I didn't trophy the Spell Queller, but rather Oko, they'd have 2 more power in the air to attack here. That doesn't seem game winning. I wouldn't have a Rhino, but that seems okay. So yeah, if I hit the Oko, right? And then they attack, I go down. Oh, but I wouldn't have gained life either, right? I would just be at like 3 life here, which I think I would have lost anyway in this spot. So just too far behind, particularly, with this sword on the table is just too rough. Yeah, well, that looks like a good line, actually. So I could have dealt with 2 of their threats by bouncing Spell Queller is never that amazing. I guess I kind of want to go back. Not sure how much mana they had up, right? But if I Teferi the... So I start, right, I of course lead with Trophy on Oko, so they can't Queller it. Then play Teferi and bounce the Spell Queller. That probably would have been the best line. So I get back the Siege Rhino, gain some life. I think I would have been at 6. Yes, I need... You're like my bot in this channel, Paintball Demon. You just remind me that Teferi makes sure that people can't cast things at instant speed. Let's see. If I play Teferi first and bounce stuff, yeah, then they can't replay it anyway. That's true. All right, so this game I was just overwhelmed, I think. Although, if I had followed that line of Teferi bouncing the Spell Queller, then it's exact C's with the mana, right? Like white, blue, X for Teferi, and then green and black to blow up Oko. I think I could have clawed myself back into this game, right? Because then they don't have Oko, they don't take my Soul Herder. That would have been clutch. And then I could just play Eternal Witness, get back Ephemerate, start looping Ephemerates and getting Soul Herder value. So, there's this deck, you... People are so quick to dismiss strategies and decks, right? But I think I had the cards in my hand to win this game, now that we're thinking about it. I mean, it would have been close. I think I would have been at 6 here. But they would have had these same attacks because I would have bounced the Spell Queller, which I trophied in the actual game. If they're not attacking with Exalted, they're only getting in for 3 and 3, and I can just block one of them. Well, no, this is 5 anyway, so I can't block this. I would still be at 1. And then the following turn, I could get back a trophy with anything. I'd still have a Soul Herder. I could blink the Witness on end step, or just play a... No, I think that's probably what I have to do. Blink the Witness on end step, trophy the sword. Yeah, we had some good tools to fight through the end game there. Even though we were getting sort of steamrolled. I think we were just at that point where we could have turned the corner, but I didn't see the line. And then I just want to sort of speed through game 3 real quick. You guys couldn't see the opponent's clock, so you can sort of see the point where I decided to stop doing anything and just let them run their head against the wall with worship there. All right, so they went with Mystic, and they got Batterskull, which didn't come out for a while. Here I played Soul Herder, replaced the food from the bird. Now they're going to path the Soulherder, right? That ramps me. I got an island. So I'm going to have access to 5 mana next turn. There's another Soulherder. It seemed to me like a good option to play the Soulherder. I don't think I needed to crack the food. Opponent's going to Spell Queller. I'm just going to Assassin's Trophy on my turn. You guys with me up to this point? Did I make any mistakes there? I think just trophying on my main phase just to get the Soulherder on the table, blink the Goose, seemed like a good way to go. Opponent's on 3 cards at this point. Don't seem to have a lot going on. Got plenty of lands. Chose to play the Coatl to get some value out of the Soulherder. Now we can still play Worship. Opponent did not counter the Ice Fang, so it seemed like maybe they didn't have a Queller. So we got Worship down, and no great attacks with the Death Touch, but we do get to start drawing cards. Okay, they're going to put Batterskull down. With Worship, that's not super frightening. Double Death Touch, a little bit annoying. So in this spot, you can see I'm at 4 minutes. Opponent has a minute and a half more than me. It's 25% more clock. Or no, more than that, right? It's like more than that, like a third more of my clock or something. So with Worship, I don't know, the opponent's just passing through. I guess maybe they didn't want to run into Death Touch here. I didn't have good attacks. Opponent doesn't have amazing attacks, particularly with Worship. Their only out that I can see is Teferi, bounce Worship, and then Queller it on the way back. So since they need like multiple cards, they're down to 2 cards. It sort of felt okay in this spot. They do have the Teferi, so that's half of what they need. They just ticked it up. I drew a Stonehorn, which is pretty nice. Just make sure that they can't attack. Does keep me from drawing cards for a little while. I do blink the Ice Fang here, I think. Okay, another land wasn't that great. That turn only took, 13 seconds or something. Trying to get ahead. Opponent bounced Soulherder with Teferi. And okay, they blew it up with Knight of Autumn, which is fine. We still have Stoneheart Dignitary, but then of course we also have Eternal Witness. Opponent's down to 1 card. Worship is kind of a win condition unto itself when the clock is really low. We don't need it this turn, since we are going to blink the Stonehorn, which means they won't be able to attack. Which means we don't need Worship this turn necessarily. We have another Eternal Witness in hand. Well, maybe the same one. I'm not quite sure. Guess there it is, yeah. The same Eternal Witness. Get back Worship. Opponent's sitting on 2 cards. We cast Worship and it resolves. Still no attacks. Probably could have started blinking for value at this point, but I still went with the no attacks blink. Oracle is nice at this point, just a little bit of velocity sort of drawing through the deck. Well, I hit a land, so that got sort of shut off right away. So at this point with Worship down, I wasn't really afraid. The opponent has pretty weak attacks anyway, so let's go ahead and get back Trophy. Blow up anything that really bothers us, like that card. So he targeted Soulherder there. Now, the reason that I didn't attack with Soulherder is, well, twofold, right? I have Worship, and I'm just trying to pass with spending as little time as possible. Let the opponent spend time dealing with Worship. Again, to deal with this, they need Teferi and Spell Queller. So it's pretty exact. And honestly, in hindsight, what I could have done better, particularly once I pulled ahead on time a little bit, is I should have been looking to draw step, click them, because imagine they have like a Spell Queller in hand, but they're looking for the Teferi to bounce the Worship. I could click them during their draw step, and then what are they going to do? They're going to probably Spell Quell the Vendilion Click. All right, we draw a Coatl. A Teferi of our own. It's pretty nice. So the opponent did have a Queller in hand. But, they really need to be using that on Worship. I'm still behind on time, but this was right around when I decided to just F6 basically. They're equipping Batterskull, and we don't have to worry about, I blocked here, but I probably shouldn't have. Okay, and that force was pretty sweet because, we're really not afraid. Let me pause it for a second. The force might have just seemed good, but maybe it's really not necessary because all the sword does is make one of their creatures unblockable and bigger. And all that Batterskull does is attack and gain life. And so without ways to deal with Worship, I just have to F6 and send it back to the opponent. And they, again, have to hope to draw Teferi and Spell Queller. Now they have a Spell Queller on the board. They have 1 in the graveyard. Not sure how many they play. Wouldn't be surprised if they played the full 4, but if they have 2 left in the deck, they still got 34 cards. There's probably also, one of their Teferis is in the graveyard as well. So they don't have a lot of outs. And the swords in Batterskull just really aren't helping them so much. So I am pulling ahead on time at this point. So go to bounce Batterskull. Opponent flashes in the sword, kind of strangely. So I'm going to force those, and they could have bounced the Batterskull. Somebody pointed that out. I think Worship really won the game. Opponent just ticked up Teferi, and I made some... Yeah, so now I'm just going to start F6ing, because the opponent's below 1 minute. Astrolabe, Once Upon a Time, revealing click. Now we can't play anything at instant speed because of Teferi, but we don't really need to. Even if the opponent bounces Worship, they can't do 12 damage to me. And I guess that, I should pause one more time, that's a great rationale for blowing up their equipment, is the equipment does present a pretty scary clock on the board. Like if they get me down to 1 life, right, and they have evasive damage with a flyer, then I just lose if they bounce Worship. They don't even need the Spell Queller because they bounce it, they get 1 attack in, and that's it. GG. But if I have a wall of creatures and they don't have evasion, then bouncing Worship just lets me replay it, right? All right, so opponent, yeah, at that point they scooped. They were down to 6 seconds. And you guys can see their clock this time. So yeah, that was a long and sort of intense matchup. I guess I'll go ahead and jump into the 4th round. So Teferi's actually a really good card, right? I mean, Oko is busted, but Teferi's pretty busted too, and I really like playing with Teferi on the board. Once you're in combat, the opponent can't do anything. So if you want to block and ephemerate, that's going to be free. If you want to kill one of their creatures, they can't counter it. So it's just a nice warm security blanket. Are any of you guys testing any sort of flex spots that haven't been getting talked about a lot in the Discord? Are any of you guys still playing Blade Splicer? I guess those of you on Bant are probably still playing with Thragtusk. Paintball Demon, what's keeping you so busy that prevents you from playing enough to actually test things? My wife has a store, and so she has to, now that it's the week leading up to Christmas, she has to be there every day selling stuff. And even a couple days a week, I go in with her and help her manage everything. So my time has been limited, but I've still had enough time to sort of sit down and play every now and then. Okay, Oink Mage, that looks really familiar. feel like they're a pretty good player. This is a sketchy hand, but you know, I think it's a keep. I mean, you have to think with this hand in particular. You have to think about it as 6 cards. Like, imagine I mulliganed to these 6. That would be pretty beautiful, I think. So basically, we just get an extra land here. The opponent did mulligan to 6. Looks like humans, so Coatl could be good. Did not want to draw that land. All right, I got to take a breath after that last round. I'm just going to main phase Ice Fang Coatl, I think, here. Although, yeah, no reason to just let them run out like a Reflector Mage. I guess I'll just save the Ice Fang. Yeah. Do I even? They probably think that we're just like Snow Urza, so let's let them name Urza before we play Ephemerate. Go ahead, name Oko, maybe. You named Urza. I love it. Ugh, that was a terrible draw. We're drawing pretty poorly so far this game. Well, perhaps I spoke too soon. So, why would I not Ephemerate? That's just 2 cards right now. So yeah, I think I'm just going to run Soulherder out. They run out Reflector Mage and whatever. I could also just run Eternal Witness out, but Soulherder seems pretty good. Next turn, I can run out Witness and get Ephemerate back, so I like it this way. Right, so we're going to play Soulherder, take these guys to Value Town. Population, Merfolk Joe. Urza, this is, oh my goodness. This is so delicious. Yes. If I had some emotes, you guys could just like spam emotes right now. Oh, I would definitely draw a card. We've got lands for days. All right, so humans, huh? Let's go ahead and bring in that and that. And honestly, Force of Vigor is not terrible. Veil of Summer is surprisingly potent against humans, because if they try to Reflector Mage and we hit them with Veil of Summer, that's just like too much value. Winds of Abandon definitely coming in. Celestial Purge hits Mantis Rider and Kite Sail, so I think that's pretty good. Teferi is not amazing, and actually Oko is fairly weak in the matchup, so I think I just take out all of my Planeswalkers, sort of just go creature mode here. Definitely take out the forces. All right, so now we're at a square 60 that's inarguably better than it was before these adjustments. So being up a game against humans, we can bring in Force of Vigor and just catch them on the blowout if they keep the 1-land Ether Vial hand. I kind of like Force of Vigor against Ether Vial decks. Alternatively, I could bring in Collector Oof as another body. But that can get dealt with, and it makes me want to trim some Astrolabes. Thoughtseize over Purge, but Thoughtseize hits our life total, and this is an aggro matchup. And Celestial Purge is an instant, whereas Thoughtseize is a sorcery. Vendilion Click is decent for blocking their flyers. But I don't think I need it. I think I'm gonna run like this and see how it goes. You guys can criticize me now during the next game. So Oink Mage was unhappy about naming Urza there. That is the drawback for sure of blind naming. Wow. Okay, well, should be able to make this work. All right, no turn one play at all. I love it. We are looking to ramp into... Well, let's just play Goose, right? Not too much to talk about. I want them to name Urza again. That was like the best thing that's happened. Are you doing this again? Come on, don't embarrass yourself. He's gonna name Ephemerate now. Okay, Ice Fang Coatl. Good job. I don't know. It's like, so I can play Soul Herder, which seems pretty good, or I can play. I'd love to land Siege Rhino next turn, so I'd rather not spend this food. I think I'll just go. So we can't play Ice Fang yet. So turning on. We do have extra snow permanent, so turning on Death Touch shouldn't really... I'm not overly concerned about that. Yeah, I like ramping into Siege Rhino, so... I'm gonna go get Hallowed Fountain here. Although that doesn't really help me cast Trophy. Oh, well, I have the black, so in hand. I'll get Hallowed Fountain. And this guy is going to either ramp me now. Astrolabe is a little bit clunky. Oh yeah, you know that's actually a good call. I don't know. I thought about blinking the Goose, but opponent's going to attack. It looks like here. Yeah, I should have played Soul Herder, right? That was a misstep for sure, because then I could still ramp into Siege Rhino. I'm getting a little bit tired here. Okay, Reflector Mage. Maybe he's going to hit the Goose, I guess. That's okay. This is not going terribly. Although now I can't ramp into... It is kind of terrible, the way that my mana is working out. I could go green, black, blow up one of their things on their turn, but I can't do. Hold on. If I play an Astrolabe, then I can still cast. Oh yeah. Am I gonna? Might not even get to 4 lands here. I'm getting punished. I guess they would have bounced the Soul Herder here anyway. But then I'd still have a Goose. Mistakes. I mean, I can't cast the Coatl just yet, but I can blow up their Assassin's Trophy. All right. I can blow up their Meddling Mage with Assassin's Trophy. I think that seems like an okay line. I mean, land just kind of really slows them down here. If I hit a land, because jamming Siege Rhino just seems pretty strong. I don't think they run a lot of basics either, so potentially like starting to trophy their lands could be pretty strong. For those of you guys who don't know, the mana that Astrolabe makes, like it says, add 1 mana of any color. It doesn't say add 1 snow mana of any color, but it actually is snow mana since it comes from a snow permanent. Yeah, so now I think we just maybe kill this thing, take 5. Then we'll be able to play our Coatl. We draw land. Of course, if he has another basic and another mage, he can just name Coatl again, since it's pretty clear that why I'm... Ugh. Okay, I think he has another meddling mage, which is a little bit obnoxious. Oh, he didn't. All right, great. And we drew lands. Well, a land. So I can go ahead and slam Siege Rhino. The problem with that is that... So I am going to have Death Touch online. I think I might just want to trophy at this point. They're running sort of low on cards, and I'd rather not have them Reflector Mage me. So, play this. A2. Pass turn. They didn't crack their land. Seems a little loose. Okie dokie. Yeah, that card's a little bit annoying. Well, now they get to play the Crusader on their turn. Soul Herder can block it, but it's not going to be big enough yet. It's 4 damage by itself. Opponent is flooding a little bit, but we're sort of behind as well. Can play Soul Herder. Oracle, I'll be at 5. You take 4 from this. If they have haste with the flyer, then that's it. If I just go Siege Rhino and they have no answer for it, they go down to 9. I can swing next turn, potentially. This doesn't have Vigilance, right? So, yeah, it may be Rhino time. But do I run out Goose as well? Or do I play this tapped? I guess is the question. Or do I run out Astrolabe with the hope of drawing into things like Ephemerate? I think going down to 5 is okay here. If I die to a Mantis... Well, Mantis Rider gets me in the air anyway. Unless I play a Goose to block a Mantis Rider. I can always just play a Coiling Oracle next turn. I'm going to play this tap. I'm going to go with Siege Rhino first here. Alright, so got a little bit of a buffer here now. Actually, don't die if I play this. I go to 8. They have... I think I'm okay. I'm going to play it untapped. But now I just have to play Goose because my opponent has plenty of lands to start cycling if he wants to do that. All right, so they can take the Astrolabe away if they play their flyer. Turns on my Celestial Purge. Are they going to blink the Siege Rhino? That's pretty rough. I can't block this, so that's 6, but I do have to chump. I have 4 life to be gained over here, but that would basically tap me out. I guess I have to block with the goose. Take 6 and... Oh yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. Let me resize. And then drag this over here. Ugh. This game's not going so great, but the matchup actually feels solid right now. Maybe I'll draw into like a Stonehorn Dignitary or something. Maybe Worship. All right, so if they don't draw Reflector Mage, we're good to go for a little bit. Get out of here. You did not draw a Reflector Mage. You did not. Okay, Militia Bugler. Yes, deck. All right, I have limited white mana. I need to be careful. What? Don't know me. Why are you knowing me? Oh, you're saying I should ephemerate? And yeah. Well, I couldn't play Siege Rhino, right? Didn't you just get bounced? Anyhow, they can't beat me because I have ephemerate for Stonehorn. And for Soulherder, they can't really do anything. Yeah, so they scooped anyway. I had well, anyhow, the point is I drew ephemerate, so their out was to draw Reflector Mage. Like literally the only out. So if they draw Reflector Mage, which they're digging towards, they play it, and I ephemerate, and now they have to draw another Reflector Mage. So yeah, I mean, I should have Siege Rhino'd. I had what, 9 damage out of Siege Rhino, so 4 plus Soul Herder, and no, I definitely missed lethal. You're totally right for sure. But there was 0 danger in my line as far as I can see. If you can point it out to me, then of course, you know, I'll eat some humble pie. But I did miss lethal, so already I'm taking a little nibble of the pie. Well, wow. I mean, we just kind of body slammed humans, right? I mean, that was like a Babe Ruth level, like, called shot on Stonehorn Dignitary. I believe I said I could just draw something like Stonehorn Dignitary, and I drew it. Yeah, but Brick Levin, I mean, I had Siege Rhino plus Ephemerate plus Soul Herder. It was like, it's pretty overkill. So it's hard not to just like blank the humans player's attack step. So I don't know what they could have done that turn. They don't have a ton of mana, but imagine like they had 6, they could have Reflector Mage. I would have Ephemerated, and then if they, I guess, you know, I could have screwed it up, because if they had a Deputy or something, then they could have taken Soul Herder. Now I'm not getting, you know, I'm not blinking Stonehorn anymore. Only take them down to, I mean, this is if I, anyhow, I'm not going to get too much into the coulda, woulda, shouldas, but yes, I completely agree, Paintball Demon, that Shouldn't have missed it. So currently sitting at 4-0. Feels good. The question is whether I feel like jumping into the last round or not. Got a little bit of a headache developing. Yeah, I guess we might as well, right? I've got all you guys with me, so the power of teamwork. I'm gonna adjust this light a little bit. All right, let's go ahead into the 5th round. See if I can't go 5-0 here. I might ask the opponent at the outset, like how they're doing in the league. Now I just get paired against one of my friends and they just scoop to me. That would be the best. Maybe I should just cancel and have all of you go join a queue right now, so that I get to play against you, and then you just scoop to me and I give you like all my chests or something. No, I mean no, I'll play the match. It would just be really nice if I didn't have to play it. It's been kind of a long day. I had a bit of work. That game against the Soul, what was it? I don't even know. It wasn't a Soulherder deck. I guess it was a Bant Stoneforge deck. Bant Snoko, I guess is what the kids are calling it. So for those of you guys watching, if you're not following me yet on Twitch, I believe all of you probably are. You should go ahead and, I'm going to hit cancel for a second, although that may have been unwise because the longer you wait, you get paired down more and more. So as I was saying to you guys, if you're not following already, please follow. It's definitely an option now to subscribe. If any of you guys have Amazon Prime and you don't know already, you can link your Prime and Twitch accounts. And what that does is it gives you one free subscription to somebody's Twitch channel. So what that does for me, if you subscribe to me with the free subscription, is it gives me $5 a month. So if you feel like doing that, I will give you the big thumbs up. Let's see. I'm working on getting some emotes made. Just because it's the holidays, things are taking too long. Well, not taking too long, just taking a while. I like that this this queue is taking a long time. I often get paired down. So yeah, again, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you can link the Prime account easily to your Twitch account. Then you have Twitch Prime, which lets you subscribe to me for free. So go check that out if you have Amazon Prime. Link it to your Twitch Prime account. So if the opponent is like 3-1 and I'm 4-0, I might just offer a draw and give him some trophies. Like, I'm all about just getting these lists published, honestly. Yeah, I'll resize the window for sure when the match starts. I'm gonna have a little conversation with the opponent though, because I get like a ton of I think I get 11 chests, and I'm fine giving the opponent like, they still get prizes for going whatever they're doing, 3-0, 3-1, sorry, 3-2 in the end. They get a chest, and then I'll give them like, for 4-1 you would get like, I think 4 chests. So I'll give them like 8, 9, 10, whatever. Universal Law. This is an interesting hand. Opponent's mulliganing, so maybe I want to hold off on that conversation. Hey, good luck. If you don't mind my asking, where are you in this league? So funny enough, I said, if you don't mind my asking, where are you in this league? Opponent responds, one word, no. Okay. I wasn't offering anything necessarily, but no is fair. So I might want to go green black and just Assassin's Trophy depending on what they do. So I'm going to open with this. The opponent just says no. Maybe we'll ask them again when we're about to beat them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, opponent. Matter Reshaper is not that frightening. Uh-oh. Although, Teferi's not super amazing either. It does prevent this guy from drawing a card if I bounce him. If they have another temple, they can follow up with Smasher, which is pretty rough. I think I just go... Well, I mean, honestly, we're sort of okay. We have a trophy in hand. It's pretty nice. Just going to play Oracle here, I think. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I said, hey, good luck. If you don't mind my asking, where are you in this league? No. He's probably had it up to here with people asking him, you know, where he is in a league. No. I haven't gotten ramped with Coiling Oracle in, I don't know, like weeks. Just keeps giving me cards in my hand. Oh man, are you short on lands, opponent? Sort of rough. It'd be a shame if somebody Assassin's Trophied your expedition map. Oh boy. No, I'm not going to bounce it either. I don't think I'm just going to bounce this Matter Reshaper. I mean, I guess I could bounce this, but then he just draws another land. It's okay. This way... And we have an Assassin's Trophy for any kind of bomb if they happen to land something. I like this combination of Soul Herder and Siege Rhino. Well, you've got some interesting choices before you, opponent. Probably Siege Rhino, right? Siege Rhino's a big bad, I don't know, fatty. Blocks Thought-Knot Seers pretty well. And if they take the Siege Rhino, then I guess I'd just play Soul Herder and hold up Ephemerate. They took the trophy. It's interesting. All right. I can dig it. Yeah, Rhinomania might be a good sound clip to get. Oh, wait, hang on. Black, green, white, blue. Okay. We took up Teferi. And we attack into the Thought-Knots here. Next turn we get to go Soul Herder, Ephemerate, both on Siege Rhino after an attack. Just tap out for like Reality Smasher. You know you want to. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Triple, quadruple nice. We get to swing for 4 and then drain for 6. What are you going to attack with, opponent? I'm going to go after my... Oh, he's going after Teferi. This is so good. All right, you got it. You've convinced me. Teferi did decently well. We know one of the cards in the opponent's hand is a Matter Reshaper. Teferi down. Life total's equal, but not for long. Actually going to hold Ephemerate up, I believe. Block opponent. We need to start pulling ahead though, because don't want to let them land their like gigantic planeswalkers and such. Okay, no blocks. Interesting. So we're gonna go blue, white, X, and we've got green, and we can go blue for Coatl or for let's play this untapped. Although it was a little bit hasty, honestly. But I leave Ephemerate up here, and then if they have like Dismember or something, then I have the Ephemerate. I'm not in danger of dying anytime soon. Opponent may know that I have the Ephemerate, I guess. I believe they do. No, because I might want to play Coatl here. I'm not going to play the Astrolabe. I just don't see the upside of blinking Siege Rhino right now. You know, it's not like Tron has a ton of ways to target my creatures. So Ephemerate effectively acting like a counterspell here. Cracking an Expedition Map. Going to get a Tron piece, I'm sure. Okay, now they have access to 4 mana if they want to go Thought Knot again. Maybe Ballista. Ballista doesn't really do very much here. Oh, are they just playing out... This is game over if they're playing out Matter Reshaper. They could still be holding up Dismember, and I'm not going to blink first. Like, this is... that's so funny that I said blink first. It's a blink deck. Get it? And I'm not tapping out either. So... I could Ephemerate now, but if they have Dismember, they go down to 5. They kill this thing. And I'm like way behind on board. So, let's not let them do that, huh? This will turn on Death Touch, actually, if I play the Coatl. All right, so they didn't dismember in response. That's a good sign. So they're pretty close to sort of enormous amounts of mana, right? If they play their next Tron land. They could go Ugin, but then we ephemerate. Okay, opponent's just scooping. I love it. All right, so what are we bringing in here? Definitely Unmoored Ego. Definitely Winds of Abandon. Definitely the Disdainful Strokes. Tell me what you guys like here. What am I waiting for? Dismember does kill Rhino. -5, -5. All right. Yeah, Oof seems okay. What am I taking out? Force is actually pretty good. They play a bunch of, let's see, I think Teferi's not amazing. I think Oko is amazing. Collector Oof, we're going to trim these Astrolabes. Definitely keeping in the trophies. What am I missing here from the sideboard? I could bring in Click. It's weak to Ballista, but it ships one of their big cards. You guys see anything else that I should bring in? I'm running out of time here. Maybe Thoughtseize? Thoughtseize seems good, particularly on repeat. Then what do I board out? Maybe one Goose, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Well, we can hopefully they mulligan and we have Assassin's Trophy. Well, they begin with 7, so have to keep this, right? I mean, hopefully they don't have the crazy nuts. Well, Relic against Eternal Witness is pretty solid. Thoughtseize turn 1. Pretty good. Then we've got you can go get green, black, and then blue next turn. That seems the best, I guess. Green, black, but then we need blue, white, right? So maybe I was too hasty running that out there. No, we need green, blue to run out Oko. Go get green, black. Got it, opponent. Okay. This requires 3 to crew, costs 5 to play. They've got Urza's Power Plant, nothing else here. I like taking Ugin. Ugin is kind of a massive card advantage engine. You guys agree with taking Ugin here? I could use with a little bit of teamwork. I could deal with a little bit of teamwork. All right, peace out, Ugin. Okay, so next turn if we draw a snake, which would be optimal, I can go fetch blue. Excuse me. Pretty equal on time. Opponent plays their power plant, and probably nothing else, unless they drew like a ballista. All right, you got it. So Coiling Oracle would be the best here. Goose is okay. So we know 3 of their cards, if they top deck a Tron land, you know, they can play some stuff, but it doesn't sort of run away with the game, which is all to say that we don't need to jam Assassin's Trophy right now. I think I play this, intention of getting blue, and then actually we could turn this into an Elk later if we want to. Of course, we can just trophy whatever bomb they play and not. All right, they're just cycling it. They don't know that we have a witness. That works in our favor because if we can just start looping stuff, we've got Soulherder. Okay, so they drew another power plant. They're playing a Matter Reshaper, I'm sure. That's fine. Oh, wait. I do want to draw lands here, so I think I can wait to crack the Vista. That worked out well. So now, something like wait to do, like blow up one of their lands on their upkeep is kind of a cowardly play, but it would put them on 3 mana, put them 2 Tron lands away from resolving anything of significance. On the other hand, I could play Oko and make this into a creature, but if they... What do you guys think I should do here? Do you prefer blowing up the land or just jamming Oko? Seems like Oko's good value. Opponent does seem to just be sort of top decking here. Yeah, I like getting Oko out. It uses the mana most efficiently. Next turn, let's see, we'll have 5 mana, including the Goose, and we can go like Soulherder Trophy if we want to do that. Alternatively, I could run out Soulherder, of course. If I get another land? I don't need another land to cast 2 spells next turn. Opponent has a waste. So I think I just take this on Oko's chin here. I don't really want to block this Matter Reshaper. But if I block it, for example, with the Goose, then I can trade for it if I want to. It doesn't seem amazing, actually. I think I just take the hit, and just make a food next turn. Oko goes back up to 4, and whatever. Okay, opponent plays the wastes. And something else, I guess. Okay, maybe Ballista is going to try to take down Oko. Maybe that's kind of reasonable, I guess. But it's a good thing for us because Ballista can kind of run away with games. Sounds good, opponent. You got me. I also can just play Eternal Witness and get that back if I want to. We know they have the Sky Sovereign in hand now. Okay, I can't play... Okay, I can blow up one of their lands, which I kind of like. So I'm going to set a pause on their draw step, run out this Oracle now. The Soul Herder, huh? And if I can draw lands, I can start, hopefully, looping Assassin's Trophy. They can play that Sky Sovereign, but I'm not super scared of it. It can't attack, it doesn't have haste, right? Or does it? Nope. Oh, I didn't need to hide that. This kind of play is just kind of necessary against Tron. Like, if they top deck and they get to just start running out, like, Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Oh, they failed to find a basic waste. That's a huge win, actually. So they actually had one in hand. That's amazing. All right, so Thought Knot probably going to take Eternal Witness, but we get to start the value engines revving here now. Oh, they took a Soul Herder. This game is going pretty well here. Okay, no attacks. I can dig it. Currently have no white mana. Oh my god, no white mana. That's a bigger problem than I thought. Okay. So I need to go get Prismatic Vista, I guess. So I'll run out Witness, get Vista, get white. Well, I can wait for that, I guess. But they can thought not me again. It's unfortunate that I didn't have white mana. But opponent knows what I'm holding here. Yeah, playing Goose for the food that gets used by the other one, like these are plays that I don't see so well with Goose, honestly. I'm kind of a noob with Goose. So this is all very slow from the opponent, but if we can get this trophy back, and we should be able to, I think, go green, 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 white, blue, and then green, black. Yeah, I think we can do that, actually. We just have to not die until then. Before then. So opponent, hopefully they're not attacking. Okay, this is great. They're not attacking. I don't mind drawing lands here. Okay, Coatl, this is getting better and better. Let's go ahead and get white. I thought I didn't have it for a second. I was about to scream at somebody. All right, so now we just have some fun. Nope, we know that they have no more basics, so it's just free. All right, opponent, you got to find something really good right away. Well, there's land. Helps them cast things. Okay, like that thing. But they're not close to Tron, so we can just blow that up. When it enters the battlefield, does it do something? Oh, is it destroying this? Oh, I forgot that it does that. All right, well, that was pretty decent actually. So we need to draw something good now. Man, I thought that was like when it equipped or attacks. So that's my bad, guys. They've got one card in hand. They're getting feisty. It's okay with me. I like drawing cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, all right. Not that great. Not that great. Come on, deck. I think I'm going to main phase this. All right. This is getting not too amazing. I can make 2 foods next turn if I want to, or this turn, I guess. I'm not blocking with the Eternal Witness, so I can go ahead and attack with it. Oh, the ship is actually going to do some work, huh? I'm going to have to sacrifice some food, I guess. Oh man, this just turned an unfortunate corner. I thought we had things sort of locked down with Soul Herder. If it could just get to 3 toughness, that would have been sort of enough, right? Okay, Reality Smasher. And I guess they're going to equip. And this looks like it's probably lights out, because now they get to attack and kill Ice Fang. Guys. I don't think I misplayed necessarily, but I got a little bit overconfident. Let's see. Maybe I can make sack enough food to live. Oh, they didn't attack? Wow. Thank you, opponent. Breeding Pool. Hallowed Fountain gets me more white. I can't do anything right now with the food. I kind of want to crack one of these foods. So I'll just get my basic, I guess. Let's get some blink, please. Okay, that's really solid. So this is a situation where you do want to main phase Ephemerate, because the opponent could draw into removal and they have no reason to cast it right now. We've got Ephemerate coming back. Want tapping out for, I guess, Ugin the Ineffable. That's, or maybe a walking ballista, which is be disgusting. Oh my god. Ugh. Nah, this is game 2. I crushed them in game 1. Come on. Come on, opponent. Let me untap. This is rough. Not the best spot. Because of the ballista. Okay, that's fine. But now he can't kill both of these guys, and I get... hopefully he kills Soulherder, right? Because... well, he doesn't have to jump the gun, I guess. Oh, look, it looks like he's going after Soulherder. He doesn't really know about the rebound. So we get Soulherder back. Opponent's like, what is this trickery? I do have to be careful, though. I guess I can just trophy this Reality Smasher. Oh, God. That's not what I wanted to do. No, I know. I wanted to get Soulherder back. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, guys. Like, that was the play, to get Soulherder back. Oh, and then I didn't really need to play a land just then. I don't, it might not be the deciding factor. I've still got some life gain over here. Yeah, I know. That was really stupid. I have to draw well now because I have no value engine anymore. So it's just me against the opponent's top decks. Ugh. God, how stupid. I had this game all locked up, and now... yeah, I'm gonna pitch this card. That's fine. Damn it. Oh, but I have another rebound. So as long as they don't... wait, I'm sorry. So I am going to block with this goose and then make some food. Yeah, as long as they don't have removal. Okay, and they don't. All right, guys. Come on. Get my head in the game. I need more white mana. And more blue mana. Force. Force is a good one. But... I can get a blue card back right now. To hold up force. So I guess Oko? No, Ice Fang. And then if they don't play anything, I can just flash it in. Brick Levin, I'm looking out for something like a top-decked Ballista. So if I took 3 damage off the Matter Shaper, Ballista could get played and then just kill us. Opponent scoops! Guys, we went 5-0, yes! Opponent had the chance. I offered him the splitsies. He wasn't having it. Yeah. All right. So yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. This is extremely exciting. You see all these people on Reddit talking about how Soulherder is too weak. You know, like people just remove your creatures and you don't do anything. Paintball Demon, there's like 0 way the list doesn't get published. I think what happened last time was actually the list didn't get published like the next day, which I guess is going to be tomorrow. But then it got published like the next cycle. So even if it doesn't get published tomorrow, let's hold off on our disappointment and maybe it'll make it on Thursday. But this is a 4-color Soulherder deck running like Siege Rhinos and Assassin's Trophies. Yeah, guys, I need to show you the opponent's chat. It was just like the best. Can I drag this? Okay. So the opponent says, I say, hey, good luck. If you don't mind my asking, where are you in this league? Opponent, no. And then after I won game 1, I asked them again, hey, so if you don't mind, where are you in this league? Because all I care about is getting the list published. Like, if this guy wants, a bunch of trophies, I'll just send him some trophies. So he doesn't respond, really. I've been playing a lot with this list, trying to tune it. This is still me. I'm happy to ship some chests your way in return for the concession. And in case you guys were wondering, this is totally legal as long as both players are 4-0. I think it's, like, less legal if they're 3-1, but I don't know. I feel like it probably still happens a lot if people are at 3-1. I tell him I'm at 4-0. The opponent says, very sarcastically again, I'm 6-0. I can't stop now. So this is the opponent's comedy tour. He's testing out all of his new jokes. And I say, thanks. Oh, no, wait. I say, nice. Good luck. He says, thanks. It hasn't been easy. He asks if I'm playing Revelark. I say maybe. I think 5 Revelarks, if I remember correctly. Back in my day, we always played Revelark in these sorts of decks. And when I played Oko, he said, I thought that card was banned, which made me realize that the opponent might not be the savviest of modern opponents. Oh man, I'm psyched. So I had a 5-1 with with the Bant list. Sorry, 5-1. I'm just like, I can't speak right now. A 5-0. So this is not the list I'm talking about. I'm just looking to search for my tournament results. I've only had 1 published list so far, and after playing Merfolk for years and getting many 5-0s, the first time I did it with Soulherder got published. And this is a kind of a bit of a slap in the face because they called it 4-color Soulherder. Because I have, I had a 5. Whoa. Hearing my voice on the computer, that's weird. Anyhow, 4-color Soulherder. It only has Ashiok for black. So it's kind of weird that they called it 4-color. Should have just been Bant Soulherder. This was the Bant list, kind of where I left off with it. Let's see. It was still on 3-3, with the Witness and the Soulherder. But the top end was Venser and Muldrifter. Both of those cards always impressed me in the banned version. I was just starting to try playing some Teferis. Oko hadn't worked his way in yet. Was definitely on the main deck Winds of Abandon. I think any Bant player should be running the main deck Winds of Abandon because it just blows people out. It looks like this was when I was testing Smuggler's Copter. Like, I got published with Smuggler's Copter. That's pretty funny. This was the Singleton sideboard. I've talked about this a bunch in the Discord. Like, we dig so much that, and we have recursion. So playing a bunch of versatile cards that kind of overlap in their utility seemed like a good approach, but as I realize more and more what the weak matchups are, I doubled up on some cards. Like if I open up the current list. So the sideboard at this point, the disdainful strokes just seem to be so helpful in shoring up the really difficult matchups, like the Titan decks and the Eldrazi decks, the Tron decks, anything that's running big spells that kind of wipes our board or anything like that. Plays crazy Planeswalkers, disdainful stroke seems like a good answer. So I've got 3 of those now, and then Veil of Summer is just like such a strong card that you can see it's the only other non-singleton in the sideboard. Judge Ginger, maybe some of the people in the chat can remember what the previous 2 were, but I can just check the replays real quick. I know one of them was Grixis with green Death Shadow, but I can just check the replays real quick if you want to wait a second. So yeah, this feels pretty good. I don't get to play that often, and so to sit down like at a random league and 5-0 it with this like deck that's basically a brew. So this guy was on Grixis Shadow with red, no, with green, but it's really it's kind of like Sultai with red, but since it has a history of being Grixis, everybody calls it Grixis, even though the red is the splash at this point. And apparently this guy's one of the designers of this new green, the new green Grixis Shadow, the new green Death Shadow deck with Oko and Tarmogoyf once upon a time, and I got past that guy pretty easily. Actually, if you look at this league, the last couple of rounds didn't seem like total pushovers, but I only lost 1 game in the whole league. This guy was on a Bant control list with a bunch of Planeswalkers, I think. If I check like just real quick through some of the first turns of one of the games, we should be able to see what they were running. Just go ahead like this. So I played Oko, they forced it. Played another Goose, holding up Force, I guess. Couldn't really play too much. Play a Siege Rhino. Opponents got Colonnade, they verdicted. So yeah, this is I think I just got a Rhino countered by Monolink. So this was just Bant Snow control. They were playing Oko. They were also playing Teferi. I think they were playing Jace. So they flashed in Ice Fang, but then also pathed the Siege Rhino. I'm at 20, they're at 10. We've got these witnesses going. Getting back Siege Rhino. They pierced my Force, getting down to Teferi, but their life total is low. Get in with everybody, they block, play Siege Rhino, they're down to 3, and then they just scooped, even though I don't think they were quite out of it at that point. They do have a Teferi. They've got a Colonnade that can block. It's a 4/4. It would just basically chump the Siege Rhino, and they would die if they had nothing else other than the chump. Obviously, bouncing Siege Rhino is not a great line. So this was this kind of Bant snow control deck that I think is getting sort of popular. It's got just sort of versatile counter spells, pretty low curve. I'm not sure if they run Cryptic Command, or if they do, it's probably not like a 4 of, right? And Ice Fang Coatls. So that was round 2, and I took care of that deck pretty easily. Let's see. These 2 were the 2 that I played first on stream today. Actually, I guess I played these 3 on stream today. This was a another Bant snow deck, but this one was Oko with Stoneforge Mystic. It looked like it could be Soulherder for a little while, because it was like Noble Hierarch and Astrolabe and Icefang Coatl and Oko, but then they started playing, Stoneforge Mystic, and with Soulherder not really being a thing in Modern yet, I wasn't like trying to play around Ephemerate or anything like that. And one game we got kind of steamrolled, but then the other games, this one actually went to time. Anyhow, just recapping for somebody who asked. And then we had humans, and this one was Eldrazi Tron. So once again, it's Death Shadow, 2 Bant control decks, Bant Snow control decks with different builds, humans and Eldrazi Tron. So super psyched. The deck feels great. Let's think for a second, those of you guys are still with me, how the adjustments I was thinking about making to the deck would have played in that league. So basically, how do Wall of Blossoms do, and how would taking out an Astrolabe or an Assassin's Trophy feel? Because Assassin's Trophy did a lot of work in the league, I think, but I'm not sure that I need 3 of them. I mean, sorry, I need 4 of them. Like, it seems like it's kind of a card that almost wants to be a 3 of, sort of like Siege Rhino. I don't know that I really want, really want an Assassin's Trophy on, like, turn 2, because, you know, those are the turns where you're sort of jockeying for tempo advantage, and to just give the opponent an extra land on turn 2 or turn 3 is often pretty bad, even though you might be removing one of their big threats. So even though Assassin's Trophy was amazing, I still feel sort of confident trimming one, and if that trims the black requirements, I feel confident cutting back on 1 Astrolabe. So something like this, basically. This would up the 2-drop count to 10 between the 2 snakes, making up 8, and then 2 Wall of Blossoms, taking us up to 10. When we draw our opening hands, you know, we always want to have at least one of these 2-drop card drawing creatures in the opening hand. And if you think about the simple math of it, having 10 of them in the deck is a 1/6 of the deck. And so if we're drawing 7 cards, well, if you draw 6 cards, you know, you're sort of, the probability, I believe, says that you should draw exactly 1 of those cards, because you're drawing, if you draw 6 cards out of 60, you're drawing 10% of the deck. These guys are, sorry, getting ahead of myself. These are a 1/6 of the deck, right? There's 10 of them. So if we draw 7 cards, sorry, 10 of them, I'm sorry, I'm getting so tired. Let's figure out the math. This is funny. I was thinking about this as I was walking around, and I thought I had come to like a conclusion on the math, but now it sounds kind of fishy. So if let's see, we're drawing 7 cards at the outset, which is a little bit more than 10% of the deck. That's fine, right? With 10 of these guys in the deck, that's a 1/6 of the deck. So it seems like basically upping, you know, in short, upping the quantity of the 2-drops is just going to make it more likely to draw them out our opening hands. Like math goes in the trash can right now. I'm pretty pooped. So what do you guys, if any of you are still here with me, what do you think about those adjustments? Do you feel like Trophy is so important as a 4 of that trimming on them is sort of, you know, sacrilege and they should stay at 4 no matter what? Or do you think it's okay to go down to 3? I mean, if we compare it to some of the Bant lists, I believe like Nassif runs like 3 paths in his Bant list instead of 4, right? But Path is a little less versatile than Trophy. Like, I guess the reason to hedge on paths is because it's pretty bad against a lot of control decks. So you don't want to draw 2 or 3 Path to Exiles against control. But you might not really mind drawing 2 or 3 Assassin's Trophies against control. All right, well, anyhow, it seems like most of you guys have tuned out at this point. I do kind of like the idea of trimming down. The impact of trimming 1 and 1 seems sort of minor for adding 2 of these Wall of Blossoms, which would seem to strengthen the deck enough. It looks like 5 of you guys are watching, with a few of you guys just tuning in. So if any of you guys are there, this is the time to chat with me about your thoughts on adjustments for the deck. Do you think anything else should go up or down in quantity? Like, I think Teferi's pretty solid. You guys didn't see the first 2 rounds, but against Grixis Shadow, and I think against this Bant control deck, I believe Teferi is pretty solid. With all the Bant sort of snow decks running around, playing different types of counterspells, just seems like Teferi is pretty well positioned. So Judge Ginger, yeah, thanks for the the input. That's kind of where I'm at with the decision. I think 3 is a pretty solid number. There have been games, I think, where I've drawn like too many trophies, as strange as that might sound. Like, you really don't want 3 trophies in your hand in the early game, right? I mean, first of all, you don't have the mana to cast them. Second of all, opponents aren't really casting 3 must-answer threats in the early game. So, well, Brick Levin says he'd leave 4, but I'm much more leaning towards Judge Ginger here. But Levin, you need to remember that we've got Oko as versatile answers as well, right? So it's really sort of like 5 versatile answers. You've got 3 trophies in this build right now with 2 Okos. So if the opponent is playing something that we really have to answer, they get a Titan down on the battlefield, we can just play Oko and turn it into an Elk, and that's sort of fine. It's actually better in some circumstances, like if they're making zombies, we don't want to ramp them with Assassin's Trophy, similar with Valakut. So with Oko complementing Assassin's Trophy, I don't really know that we need... I think that just sort of improves the case for trimming one of the trophies. Yeah, I mean, so I like adding the walls as well. Previously, I had Charming Prince, as you guys all know, rather than the walls. But I've been watching Nassif play. I don't think he has walls, but just watching situations, he might have 1 or 2 walls. But when you're giving opponents Elks, then having an 0-4 wall is just perfect, right? It kind of nullifies the Elk. So even though the wall is not attacking, it's just doing a lot for the deck. It's drawing cards and it's keeping us alive. That synergy with Oko has been known for a while. Honestly, I think it was first brought up by Alicia in the Discord. She has a lot of great ideas about this deck. I think she's one of like the thought leaders in the Discord. Even though she's playing like a really fishy build right now with Tide Hollow Scullers and Ether Vials, she's always experimenting and has like really insightful observations about interactions. So that's just to say that the interaction of the wall with the 3/3s has kind of been known, but not really explored maybe sufficiently. Charming Prince is really good, but I don't know if there's really a but after that. It's really good. It's great in this deck, but I haven't run the walls in a while, and card draw is great. I'm not going to say that it's like just hands down better than Scrying 2. In a lot of situations, I have found the Scrying 2 to be really, really good. Obviously, gaining life can be pretty good, but then again, we have Oko and Siege Rhino to try to gain life, and actually Goose as well. So it's kind of good to be talking through this, because I hadn't really thought about Prince's life gain in light of the fact that we're starting to include Goose now alongside Oko. The life gain just becomes that much less necessary since we already have a bunch of it in the deck. Of course, the blink effect is Charming Prince's like highest potential mode, giving us extra ephemerate effects in the deck, but it's not always online. Like if you don't have another creature on the battlefield, in those situations, you'd rather, I think, draw a wall and just hit another card rather than playing Charming Prince and just scrying or gaining life. So I think I'll run this just like this next time. I think it just feels more tuned, like to what I want in the deck. So to recap, I guess I've got the versatile removal with Oko and Assassin's Trophy. Reducing the amount of trophies allows me to reduce the amount of Astrolabes to 3, and then with those 2 slots, introduce 2 Wall of Blossoms that I think just significantly, I guess at 25. If I had 8 before, now I have 10. That's 25% increase in the card drawing 2-drops, which are really the gas for the engine. Yeah, Levin, I don't know if you were watching earlier against the Stoneforge Mystic deck, but one of the times when I was just ignoring Goose and just sort of shipping the turn, and not doing anything was when I was trying to run the clock down because I had Worship on the board. But Goose is one of those cards that I think you have to grow into a little bit and really sort of learn how to time it and use its mana the best, and always remember to create food on the end step. It's unlike Hierarch or any of the other dorks in that sense. It's got a lot going on, and it's just really easy, I think, to forget to use it the best. Like, I have let like Narcomoebas come through, even though I could block it with Gilded Goose. So anyhow, I agree. I have a lot to learn about playing Goose optimally. But was just saying that one of the times I was ignoring it was on purpose. I was just trying to save time. One of the things that I've said about Goose in the past is that it is kind of mana hungry, and our deck, the way that it always draws cards, tends to be really mana hungry, and so we very rarely seem to have mana up to actually create new food. But I don't know that that's the case now that I've had a little more experience with it. Like something like, a third of the games that Goose comes out in, or I don't know, a quarter, something like that. The games go long. I mean, that's kind of what our deck does. It's designed to go long. And once it goes long, Goose is just kind of sensational. I think Food Tokens actually did just a really nice job overall in this league. Against Eldrazi-tron, I felt much more comfortable because I got to just sacrifice some foods and just keep my life total healthy. Siege Rhino was a consistent all-star when I drew it. I missed lethal once against humans, but had a lock anyway. Any observations on Rhino from this league? From you guys? And then, I said Teferi felt really good. The balance of these two cards feels really good. Actually, Soul Herder was solid. It's a card that can just get Fatal Pushed, and then you're like, why am I playing Soul Herder? This card is so fragile. But it just amps up the rest of the deck. Like, there was, I guess it was just now against Eldrazi-tron, when I was able to Ephemerate Witness to get back Soul Herder, and then just keep looping and looping. So even though we tend to think of Eternal Witness loops as relying on Ephemerate, really Soul Herder is also a possible engine that just doesn't come up as often because it's so fragile, but it's still very, very strong. In this build in particular, I'm not running things like Deputy of Detention and Path to Exile that tend to grow the Soul Herder a lot faster. I tend to not really be super concerned about the size of Soul Herder until it's very relevant. Really, size is more relevant for blocking more often than attacking. Like if you're playing against prized amalgams and Soul Herder is a 3/3, you line up blocks with Oracle and Soul Herder and then Ephemerate the Oracle, then Soul Herder becomes a 4/4 and just eats a prized amalgam, and you blink the Oracle. So that's kind of magical. I love that line against Dredge. Brick Levin, Astrolabe is a card that is easy to, I guess, disregard on its face. The thing about it is, first of all, it's more 1-drops, right? So it gives us more things to do on turn 1, which is excellent. If that was all it did, obviously it wouldn't be worth it. But then it's a snow artifact, so it helps turn on Death Touch much more consistently. I mean, we're going from having just basics to having 3 more cards on top of the coatls, and so whereas in the past I would frequently have 2 basics and not have Death Touch, now I might have 2 basics and an Astrolabe, and then suddenly we have coatl trading with like Gurmag Anglers and stuff like that. So it turns on Death Touch, but again, if that was the only thing it did, I probably wouldn't play it. But then it also filters mana, which is huge for this deck, which is one of the reasons I trimmed one down when I trimmed Trophy, because it's primarily to support the Black Splash in my build. The side benefit is that it improves coatl. But then on top of all of that, it just draws a card, right? So there's no real massive downside to playing this card. It just always replaces itself. And so there's an argument to be made that if you keep a hand with like a couple Astrolabes and they cycle into lands, that's not a hand that you would keep. But really, the card draw more than sort of offsets but the potential downside of playing what could be considered kind of a weak card if it didn't cycle, if it didn't replace itself. It filters mana, it helps Ice Fang Coatl, and it replaces itself, just draws cards. So for me, that definitely just and it's a 1-drop, which our curve is pretty lacking down there at the 1-drop spot. On turn 1, we're not playing Ephemerate on turn 1, so having these 7 cards that can get played on turn 1, it just helps our tempo a little bit. So I hope that answers your iffiness on Astrolabe, because let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty good. And Astrolabe, actually, there's another small upside to it, in that if you play an early Oko and don't have any food tokens out yet or whatever, that you want to turn into an Elk, you can just Elkify the Astrolabe. That's not always the best line if you don't have all of your colors. But if you've got enough lands and you've got your mana covered, then turning this into an Elk can be a pretty good line. So anyhow, thanks so much, guys, for joining me. This is extremely exciting. I think in the previous league, I just managed to eke out like a 3-2. So yeah, this one's a 5-0, and I was able to do it with all you guys joining me. So if you're not following me on Twitch yet, please do that. If you follow me, you're going to get pinged whenever I start a stream, so you'll be able to tune in and join me on the next stream. And if you'd like to subscribe and support the channel, I'd really appreciate that as well. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link your Amazon account with your Twitch account, and you get a free subscription